Hi, this is John. Today I am making venison jerky. So Easter Bunny's bringing that to my boys this year. So this is the way I make jerky up. There's lots of different ways to make it. Been making jerky for over 25 years and very simple. And this is a very easy, simple food dehydrator. And it's got, I think, 7 trays on here total. Taking off some of them. And with the lid. Oh! Apparently I just washed that and I got water all over the floor now. So yay! So with that, it starts simply with a dehydrator, or you can use a smoker. I've got a smoker as well, but I do like to have the dehydrator. Just makes it easy. I can monitor it real quick, and it goes fairly slow. So here, I'll mop up the floor now as I talk. With the jerky, once I originally started, I would use just beef, just any form of whole muscle meat. And in the beginning, I would take just a sharp knife, cut it up into between 1/8 and 1/4 inch strips, marinate it overnight, and then throw it here in the dehydrator. And usually it takes 24-48 hours, and you turn out a nice set of jerky on there. Well, I eventually got smarter in my older age, and instead of me cutting up the whole muscle meat, I would go ahead at the store, I would make them cut it up, and then at that point I had strips on there. This here is actually ground, and I'll show you that here in a moment. You can start with very little. So at this point it was just simply a food dehydrator. This was a gift, and if and when this wears out, I will go ahead and buy another one. But it just starts with the meat on there, and at this point I am defrosting some venison. So deer meat, venison, button buck that I got during archery season. And at that point, then it just goes from there to cutting it up, and then from there I grind it. So this is electric grinder. So if I raise you up a little bit, and simply go ahead and grind it. It comes with 3 different plates, small, medium, and large. In the past I would do a double grind. I would go with the largest and then go with the medium or small, and have a second grind to make it finer. I found at this point it wasn't worth the time to spend, and those are oily, and that's on purpose because otherwise those rust out in a heartbeat. And what I do, I oil it with this food grade. This came from Midwestern Research and Supply, and they call it Packers Tech Oil. That's a food grade safe oil, and I go ahead and I lubricate up the drive mechanism, and so everything that's cutting, touching the food is all food safe items. That's the biggest thing. You can't get anybody sick. I don't want myself sick, I don't want my family, friends, anybody else. So it takes longer for me to clean up, sterilize everything than it does to physically process. But starts here with the grinder. This one is from Northern, Northern International, or Industrial rather. There's a bunch of different manufacturers, fairly inexpensive. It's like, it was under $100. So with that, grind it, and then it's just simply mix it up. However, with mixing, Santa Claus brought me a couple years ago. I invested, and here I've got a meat mixer. So I think this is a 10-pound meat mixer, and seems like it was, first I didn't want to spend the money on there, but I was like, after you get your hands in there and they're just freezing, you're trying to mix it for like 5 minutes. Doesn't sound like long. It takes so long and your hands are frozen. This was money well invested, and I'll show it on there. But well worth it if you're going to make jerky more than once or twice. And Santa also brought a couple years ago, I invested in a sausage stuffer. This also came from Northern. I believe this is a 5-pound model, and it just makes life easy. I bought the attachments so that I could go ahead and do sausage, snack sticks, all of those. But quite honestly, it's a pain. It takes longer than I like to do. So on here, I found online a ribbon attachment. So it's about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches across. Fits here, and at that point I go straight into ribbons, put those on the trays, and I'm good to go. So let me go ahead and get things situated. And actually, before I get my hands messed up, and let's see, bring you over here for spices. So as far as spices, suggestion would be try what you like. You're the one that determines that, and I go simple. When I first started, I would go ahead and do a wet mix, which was soy sauce, soy sauce, brown sugar, and then at that point salt and pepper. Then if I wanted a little heat, I would go ahead and put chili powder or red pepper flakes and call it good. Well, at this point I've got it down to defrosting the meat started in the morning. Then at that point, by the time it's the end of the workday, I can go ahead, mix up my spices, grind it up, mix it, get it in the stuffer, get it on the trays, and be done in under an hour. And then I gotta clean up, get things sterilized, put away once again. So here's my secret mixture, and see it in there, all the different layers. On here I've got just ground black pepper, I've got salt, let's see, and then I have some paprika in there, chili powder. Chili powder I've got actually isn't this one. It is a super spicy one that we got from the Chinese store. A little bit of red pepper flakes and some garlic powder. Then I'll mix it together on here. Also some water. I'll heat the water up so it blends nicely. Put the spices into the water, mix it. Then at that point, once the meat is into the mixer, go ahead and mix it up. So let me get the camera turned around, and we'll come back to the process. Thanks. Now to clear it out, I'm going to add some ice. Woohoo! Favorite mug. Let's get you down there. Okay, it's got ice in there, and at this point, let's come over here, and we're almost right there. Dump in our meat. Okay, so here we are once again. Meat's out of the mixer. We've turned on or plugged in the dehydrator, and I just oiled up the seal on here, and here we go. 5 pounds of beautiful venison. Slide it in. And on the stuffer here, I need to move you over here. Get that out of the shot. If I put the leg this way, there we go. Okay. Okay, then hand crank, and then seal compresses. I grab a tray. Sure we're in the shot. We are. And I've got this one-handed clamp on here. I had two of them, then I busted the other one. And I've got some paper towel on the floor because I tend to make a mess. Then on here, just give a little squeeze. With two people, it works out real nice. And am I in the shot? Nice, I am. Okay. Give a little squeeze of the handle. A little turn of the handle, rather. And spread it out. And again, we're making this for home use, not for sale. So whatever it looks like, how it tastes, is exactly how I want it. And how me and my family enjoy it. And those friends that I choose to share it with. So, but love making the jerky. And again, out of any meat, turns out great. Haven't had any bad results. And again, if for some reason the dehydrator, if it broke, say like partway through on there, I would then go ahead and then transfer this to cookie sheets and then finish it up in the oven. Would it be exactly the same? Nope, but it would be at least salvage. I had quite a bit of moisture in this one. This is a pretty wet mix. And then the whole idea is I try to keep it as even as possible. And if it was a little drier on this one, then they tend to come out a lot flatter. And also at that point, then it is a less of a dry time. But I'll put it in this evening, and I'll rotate the trays around later on tonight so it gets even heat. And then by the morning, I'll have some that's dry enough that I can pick it up off the tray, flip it over, so the top and bottom will be differentiated at that point, and then just keep rotating trays. So at this point I've got one row of trays and I've got 6 more to do. So I'll be back when we're done with this. And we are back once again. So at this point I've got 7 trays of venison jerky fired up, ready to go. And where we turned out, yesterday I went ahead and made 2 containers, and this is just over, this is 5.5 pounds here and about 5 pounds inside here. And so at that point, 48 hours, I'll have more jerky. And then with that, once I have it, as I pull it off, I'll put it in containers, cheap knockoff Tupperware containers, put it in the fridge. And then I'll go ahead and then I'll wrap it, vacuum seal it in, I've got a food saver, and then with that I've got a digital scale, weigh them up, and I put them in 2-ounce little packages, and at that point I label them. They always get eaten, so they never get left behind, but label them up, and then at that point then throw them back in the freezer, and they can go in the deep freeze for pert near forever. But again, they don't last long, and hand them out. 2 ounces is plenty for a snack. You can share with a couple people. You can actually turn it into a meal sometimes. So I've done it, been there, and just a great thing to pack along, and I know exactly where it came from. Versus if you go to the store, I always look at the jerky that's in the aisles to see, and if you add up, multiply it by the 16 ounces in a pound, they go anywhere from $8 to like sometimes $20-some a pound for that. They have so many fillers and crap in there. So I know where the meat went. I know how it's been processed from day one. I know exactly what the ingredients are in here. And actually I like all the ingredients that are in there. If I didn't, guess what? I change them again. So I hope this has been informative. And if not, hopefully you didn't think it was a waste of time. If you did, sorry, but this is the way I do this. And so this is John. Hope you have a great one, and God bless America.